Close your eyes. Let me take you back to a night in 1926. The place? Holloway Manor, a mansion in the Hudson Valley, all Art Deco opulence and Jazz Age excess. My name is Detective Arthur Ashworth. This is how the investigation began. It was past midnight when I received the call. A man found dead in his locked study. The door bolted from the inside. No way in, no way out. And yet, someone had killed him. 6 guests, 6 masks, 6 motives. And somewhere in that locked room, the truth. Settle in. Get comfortable. And let me tell you about the night the masks came off. When I arrived at the manor at 1:15 in the morning, the rain was falling hard. The butler, Preston, met me at the entrance. He was pale, shaken. "Detective Ashworth." "Thank God. It's horrible." He led me through the grand foyer. Art Deco stained glass rose 3 stories high. A crystal chandelier hung like a frozen firework. Even in tragedy, wealth announced itself. But first, Preston told me what had happened earlier that evening. The annual masquerade ball, he explained. It had started at 6 o'clock. 6 particular guests had arrived, each wearing elaborate masks. Masks that Cornelius Holloway himself had commissioned and sent to them anonymously 6 months prior. The first to arrive was Vivian Ross. She wore a crimson gown and a ruby-encrusted mask shaped like a weeping face. The Scarlet Woman, they called her. She'd been Cornelius's mistress years ago. The affair had destroyed his marriage. When a reporter threatened to expose them, Cornelius cut her off completely, ruined her singing career, left her destitute. Then came Tobias Grant in a platinum suit with a silver fox mask, a business rival. 2 years ago, he'd outmaneuvered Cornelius in a merger, taking his family company. Cornelius had accused him of fraud, of making the company look worthless to buy it cheap. Grant wore cufflinks with Cornelius's company monogram, like a trophy. Clara Penbrook arrived next, the Emerald Peacock, with a camera slung over her shoulder. She was a society columnist who'd published a blind item about Cornelius fathering an illegitimate child. Cornelius had her fired, destroyed her marriage, blacklisted her from every respectable publication. Magnus Thorne came in a black Cadillac, the Midnight Raven with a corvid skull mask, a private investigator turned blackmailer. Cornelius had hired him to dig up dirt on others, but Thorne found dirt on Cornelius instead, evidence of fraud, embezzlement. He'd been bleeding Cornelius for $10,000 a month for the past year. Adelaide Whitmore wore champagne silk and a golden lioness mask. She'd been engaged to Cornelius's son, William. Cornelius paid her $30,000 to leave him, told her William was weak, that she'd ruin his life. She took the money. 6 months later, William was dead. Overdose or suicide, no one was quite sure. Adelaide blamed herself, but she blamed Cornelius more. And finally, Dr. Helena Holloway, the Sapphire Swan in blue velvet, Cornelius's own daughter. They hadn't spoken in 5 years. He'd disowned her, wrote her out of the will, blamed her publicly for William's death. She was a surgeon, brilliant, precise, and utterly estranged from her father. Preston described how Cornelius had moved through the party, approaching each of the 6, taunting them, making veiled threats. He held a leather-bound diary, clutching it like evidence. Then at 11:30, Cornelius announced he couldn't wait until midnight. He said there were truths that needed to be spoken, but he lacked the courage to say them publicly. He retreated to his study, locked the door from inside. The party tried to continue, but the energy was gone. At midnight, The gramophone in the study began to play. A woman's voice singing, "I'll be watching you." Then the needle scratched, skipped, looped endlessly. "I'll be watching, I'll be watching, I'll be watching." The guests gathered outside the study door. Preston knocked. No answer, just that scratching record. He broke down the door, and there was Cornelius Holloway, slumped in his leather chair, a letter opener protruding from his chest, blood soaked into his white shirt, his golden sun mask staring at nothing. The room had been locked from the inside, bolts still in place, windows sealed, no other exit visible. Someone had committed the perfect locked room murder. Preston led me to the study. I stood in the doorway and took it in. Every detail, every angle. The study was elegant. Mahogany desk, leather wingback chair, brass gramophone on a side table, finally wound down to silence. Art Deco wallpaper in gold and burgundy geometric patterns, bookshelves floor to ceiling, and Cornelius Holloway, dead in his chair. I moved slowly through the room, careful not to disturb anything. The champagne glass on the desk caught my attention first. Crystal, empty, but with traces of deep scarlet lipstick on the rim. I made a note to test it for poison and compare the lipstick shade to the female guests. Beneath the gramophone, I found a note. Cornelius's handwriting, shaky and hurried. "If you're reading this, one of them did it. They all wanted to." The diary holds the truth. So he knew, or suspected. Someone was going to kill him. But the diary itself was missing. I could see on the desk where it had sat for years, a rectangular dust pattern, the impression of leather in the wood finish. Preston confirmed Cornelius had been carrying it when he entered the study. Now it was gone. I examined the letter opener still in Cornelius's chest. Brass handle, ornate Art Deco design, 8-inch blade. The angle was precise, downward, 15 degrees toward the heart, not a panicked stab, someone who knew anatomy, and there wasn't as much blood as I'd expect from a chest wound. His heart had already been slowing when he was stabbed. The door mechanism was genuine. Heavy bolt lock, old but well-maintained. No scratches, no tampering. This door had truly been locked from the inside. Then I examined the walls more carefully. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. I ran my fingers along the panels until I found it, a seam hidden in the mahogany. I pushed gently. A section of bookshelf swung inward, a secret passage, leading to the library beyond. I examined the lock mechanism on the library side. Fresh scratches around the keyhole, bright metal exposed beneath old brass. Someone had picked this lock tonight and recently. I pulled out my penlight and examined the door hinge. Caught in the metal clasp was a single blue silk thread, sapphire blue. I placed it carefully in an evidence envelope. Getting down on my hands and knees, I examined the study carpet. Near the secret door, I found faint impressions. Shoe prints, small, narrow. A woman's evening shoe. Leading from the library passage to the desk, then back. On a hunch, I went to the kitchen and asked to see where they'd disposed of items from the party. Among the discarded champagne flutes, I found a crystal glass matching the one on Cornelius's desk. Same scarlet lipstick on the rim. "When was this thrown away?" I asked. "Around 12:15, sir," the cook replied. "The lady in gold brought it to us. The lioness mask. Said she'd accidentally taken it and wanted to return it properly." Adelaide Whitmore. Back in the study, I searched Cornelius's desk. In the drawer, I found architectural plans for the manor. Old blueprints. Someone had circled the secret door in red ink. Cornelius's handwriting beside it. Vulnerability. Known to T.G., possibly others. T.G. Tobias Grant. So Cornelius knew about the security risk, and did nothing, almost as if he was inviting someone to use it. With these pieces in place, I began the interviews. I had them brought to the library, neutral ground, away from the body. Interview 1. The Scarlet Woman. Vivian Ross entered first, still in her crimson gown, though her ruby mask hung from her hand now. Her makeup was smeared, eyes red from crying, or exhaustion, or both. "Miss Ross," I said. Or should I say, Mrs. Holloway? She flinched. I was never Mrs. Holloway. That honor belonged to his wife. I was just the Scarlet Woman. "Tell me about your relationship with Cornelius." She lit a cigarette with trembling hands. "We met 7 years ago. I was singing at the Cotton Club. He pursued me relentlessly. Flowers, jewelry, promises. I was young, stupid, flattered. We had an affair for 2 years. He set me up in an apartment, paid for everything, told me he'd leave his wife. He was lying. Of course he was lying. Men like Cornelius don't leave their wives. When a reporter found out, Clara Penbrook actually, Cornelius panicked, cut me off immediately, told me if I ever contacted him again, he'd ruin me. And did he? Within 6 months, I couldn't sing in any respectable establishment. I was broke, desperate. I took money from men I despised, sang in speakeasies that smelled like vomit and desperation, all because I loved the wrong man. Where were you between 11:45 and 12:15 last night? Dancing, with Tobias Grant for part of it, then with various partners. I never left the ballroom until everyone heard the gramophone. At least a dozen people can verify it. Did you kill Cornelius Holloway? She met my eyes. I wanted to, Detective. God knows I wanted to. But no, I didn't. I showed her the champagne glass with the scarlet lipstick. Is this your shade? She examined it. It could be. Half the women at the party wore similar colors. I made notes and dismissed her. Interview 2. The Silver Fox. Tobias Grant entered next, still in his platinum suit, pale and sweating. He sat and pulled out a silver cigarette case. Detective. Mr. Grant, tell me about your business relationship with Cornelius Holloway. We were competitors. Steel manufacturing. I outmaneuvered him in a merger 2 years ago. Took control of his company. He didn't take it well. What did this merger cost him? His controlling stake, his reputation, his legacy. The company had been in his family for 3 generations. I gestured to his wrists. Those cufflinks you're wearing, gold with intertwined letters, CHM, Cornelius Holloway Manufacturing. You're wearing them like a trophy. His jaw tightened. They were a gift. From yourself to yourself. Seems like you were making a point. Cornelius accused you of fraud, of making his company look worthless so you could buy it cheap. He kept threatening you. That's why you came tonight. He summoned me, said he had something to show me at midnight. I thought he was bluffing. Did you know about the secret door between the study and the library? His eyes flickered. Yes, Cornelius showed it to me years ago when we were still friendly, but I never used it. Where were you between 11:45 and 12:15? Dancing with Vivian Ross until about midnight. Then I went to the terrace for air. Several other men were there smoking. You had motive. He was threatening to expose your fraud. You had means. You knew about the secret passage, and you had opportunity. I didn't kill him, Detective. But you're not sorry he's dead. A ghost of a smile. No, I'm not sorry. I dismissed him and made a note to verify his alibi. Interview 3. The Emerald Peacock. Clara Penbrook entered carrying her Leica camera. Even at 4 a.m, she had the air of someone working a story. Miss Penbrook, former columnist for the Herald. Freelance now, she corrected, because Cornelius Holloway destroyed my career. Tell me about that. 3 years ago, I published a blind item, a prominent businessman who'd fathered an illegitimate child with a chorus girl. I never named Cornelius in print, but he figured out I was the source. Within a week, he'd had me fired, made it clear that anyone who employed me would face consequences. You lost your career. I lost everything, my marriage too. My husband couldn't handle the scandal. I notice you've been photographing everything tonight, including the crime scene. Professional habit. Or evidence collection, I'll need those film rolls. She handed over several rolls of undeveloped film. I have nothing to hide, Detective. One of the guests mentioned seeing you near the study corridor at 11:55, with your camera. She hesitated. I was documenting the entire evening. I saw the woman in gold, the lioness mask. She was carrying 2 champagne glasses, walking toward the study. Anyone else? The ballroom was crowded. I can't be certain. Where were you between 11:45 and 12:15? There's a gap. You weren't seen again until after the body was discovered. I went to change film. Then I heard the commotion. Changing film takes 35 minutes? I also needed a moment to myself. Seeing Cornelius again was emotionally difficult. Did you kill Cornelius Holloway? No, but I wish I'd thought of it first. Would have made a hell of a story. I dismissed her, keeping the film for development. Interview 4. The midnight raven Magnus Thorne entered like a shadow. The raven mask dangled from his hand. His eyes were calculating, cold. He lit a cigarette before I could offer him one. Mr. Thorne, tell me about your arrangement with Cornelius Holloway. What arrangement? Don't waste my time. What did he hire you to do? He smiled. Standard private investigation. He wanted dirt on his business competitors, his enemies. But then you found dirt on Cornelius himself. Evidence of fraud, embezzlement from his own company's pension fund. Cornelius was broke, Detective. All this was a facade. He was stealing from his employees to maintain appearances. And you decided to blackmail him? I prefer consulting fee, $10,000 a month for the past year. That's $120,000. He was getting desperate, starting to threaten you. That's why I was here tonight. It felt like a trap. I noticed the scratches on his wrist. What happened to your wrist? He glanced down, caught it on a door handle. Or perhaps on a lock mechanism. You have lock-picking tools on you right now, don't you? He hesitated, then produced a leather case containing picks. Part of my trade. Where were you between 11:45 and 12:15? In the men's room until about midnight, then the billiards room, alone. Did you kill Cornelius Holloway? He took a long drag. No, Detective, though I'll admit I considered it. Man owed me money after all. I dismissed him. Interview 5. The golden lioness Adelaide Whitmore entered, and she was broken. The golden gown seemed to weigh her down. She'd been crying for hours. Miss Whitmore, I'm sorry for your loss. William Holloway, Cornelius's son, your fiancé. Fresh tears spilled down her face. William? Oh, God, William. I waited, letting her compose herself. Tell me about William. We met 3 years ago. I was performing aerial silk dancing at a theater. William came backstage. He was gentle, kind, artistic, everything his father wasn't. We fell in love. He proposed after 6 months. But Cornelius didn't approve. Her voice turned bitter. Cornelius thought I was beneath them, a circus performer, low class. He came to see me privately, offered me $30,000 to break off the engagement and disappear. Said William was weak, that I'd ruin his life. And you took the money. Yes, God forgive me, I took it. I thought maybe Cornelius was right, that I was holding William back. What happened to William? Her voice broke. He couldn't accept it. Cornelius told him I'd laughed when I took the money, that I'd called William pathetic. It was a lie. I wrote William letters trying to explain, but he never responded. 6 months ago, they found him dead. Morphine overdose. I got one final letter from him, postmarked the day before he died. She pulled out a crumpled letter. I read it. Adelaide, I can't live with this pain. Father was right. I'm weak, but you were wrong to leave. We could have been happy. Now I'll never know. William. That's why you came tonight, to face Cornelius. Yes, I wanted to tell him what he'd done. Miss Whitmore, at 11:55, you were seen near the study corridor carrying 2 champagne glasses. One was later found in the kitchen with your lipstick shade. The other was found on Cornelius's desk. Her hands trembled. I was going to take them to him, to make a toast, to William, to force Cornelius to acknowledge what he'd done. But you never entered the study. No, I knocked. He didn't answer. I thought maybe he'd already passed out, so I left. One glass was found in the kitchen. What happened to the other? I don't remember. I must have set it down somewhere. I leaned forward. Miss Whitmore, did you poison Cornelius Holloway's champagne? Long pause. Then, yes, I did. Tell me how. She was shaking. The butler brought champagne to the study at 11:52. I saw him leave it on a tray in the corridor while he checked on something. I had a sedative, pills my doctor prescribed after William died, for the nightmares. I crushed 3 pills, dissolved them in one of the champagne glasses from my tray, switched it with the one the butler had left. What was your plan? I was going to wait until midnight. Go back, find him unconscious. I wanted him to know it was me, to tell him why before he died. But when you knocked, he didn't answer. Yes, and I panicked. I disposed of my glass in the kitchen and returned to the party. Miss Whitmore, you put sedatives in Cornelius's glass, but they didn't kill him. The letter opener did. Someone stabbed him after you poisoned him. She looked up, confused. What? I didn't stab him. I swear, I only poisoned the champagne. I believed her. The timing didn't work. She'd fled before midnight. Cornelius was stabbed between midnight and 12:05. Miss Whitmore, you're under arrest for attempted murder. She didn't resist, just sat there, crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, William. Interview 6. The Sapphire Swan. Dr. Helena Holloway entered last. She still wore her blue velvet gown, hair pulled back in a practical bun. Her face was composed, clinical, a doctor's bearing. Dr. Holloway, thank you for waiting. Detective? You're a doctor, I understand. A surgeon, yes. Which means you understand anatomy, physiology, the most efficient ways to kill someone. She smiled slightly. I also understand the most efficient ways to save someone. But yes, all surgeons understand death intimately. Tell me about your relationship with your father. Her composure cracked slightly. We didn't have a relationship, not for 5 years. We disagreed about many things. About William, my brother, about money. Eventually, he decided I was no longer welcome, wrote me out of the will, told me I was dead to him. Tell me about William, her voice softened. William was my younger brother, sensitive, artistic. He'd served in the war, came back changed. He struggled with pain, physical and emotional, morphine. He needed help, but Father refused to pay for treatment, said William was weak, that he needed willpower. That's not how addiction works. No, it's not. I tried to help William myself, found him treatment, but then Adelaide left him because Father paid her off. William believed Father's lies about her. He died 6 months ago, and Father blamed me. But you blame your father. I know my father killed him. He destroyed William as surely as if he'd administered the morphine himself. I need to ask about your movements last night. I was conducting the orchestra between musical numbers, visible to the entire ballroom. All night? Not all night. I stepped away briefly, around midnight, just before. I needed air. For how long? 10 minutes, perhaps 15. I pulled out the evidence envelope with the blue silk thread. This was found caught in the door hinge of the secret passage between the library and your father's study. It matches your dress exactly. She looked at it. Her expression didn't change. I also found footprints on the study carpet, a woman's evening shoe, leading from the secret door to the desk and back. The lock on the passage door was picked. Recently, with considerable skill. I leaned forward. And the diary your father was carrying is missing. Several people saw him with it when he entered the study. Dr. Holloway, did you kill your father? She took a deep breath. Yes? Tell me how. At 11:58 I left the ballroom. I went to the library. The secret passage. William and I discovered it as children. He taught me how to pick the old lock with a hairpin. I entered the study. Father was sitting in his chair, unconscious. I saw his breathing, too shallow, too slow. As a doctor, I recognized he'd been drugged. A sedative, strong. And then I saw the diary on his desk. I knew what was in it. Evidence that I'd taken money from his medical foundation to pay for William's treatment. He'd been threatening to have me arrested, so I took it. And then I turned to leave, but then I saw the letter opener on his desk, and I thought about William, about how Father had destroyed him, destroyed all of us. He was unconscious, dying already from the poison, but it would have been slow. He wouldn't have known who did it. Her voice went cold. I wanted him to know. So you picked up the letter opener? Yes, and I drove it into his chest. I'm a surgeon, detective. I know exactly where the heart is. One precise strike. He opened his eyes, just for a second, and he saw me, recognized me. What did he say? Nothing. He couldn't speak, but I saw it in his eyes. Understanding, fear, maybe regret. Then you left through the secret door. Yes, locked it behind me, returned to the ballroom and continued conducting. I sat back. Dr. Holloway, you're under arrest for the murder of Cornelius Holloway. She nodded. I understand. As the officers prepared to take her away, she turned back. Detective, one question. Do you believe in justice? I thought about Adelaide, broken by grief, about Helena, destroyed by a cruel father, about William, dead at 23 because he couldn't bear the pain. I believe in the law, Dr. Holloway. Whether that's the same as justice, I honestly don't know. She smiled sadly. Neither do I. Alone in the study as dawn broke, I sat at Cornelius's desk and pieced it together. The timeline, the evidence, the confessions. 11:50. The butler prepares champagne for Cornelius, leaves it briefly unattended in the corridor. 11:52. Adelaide switches the champagne glass with her poisoned one. The butler delivers the poisoned champagne to Cornelius in the study. 11:52 to 11:55. Cornelius drinks the poisoned champagne, begins to feel the effects of the sedative. 11:55. Adelaide approaches the study with 2 champagne glasses, intending to witness her crime and confront Cornelius. He doesn't answer. She panics and flees, disposing of 1 glass in the kitchen. 11:58. Helena enters through the secret passage, finds Cornelius unconscious but alive, takes the diary to hide evidence of her embezzlement, then sees the letter opener, makes her decision, stabs him precisely through the heart. 12 a.m. The gramophone begins to skip. Cornelius is dead or dying. 12:02 a.m. The crowd gathers outside the study. 12:05 a.m. The door is broken down. Cornelius is found dead. 2 women, 2 crimes, 1 victim. Adelaide attempted murder by poison, would have succeeded eventually. Helena committed murder by stabbing, succeeded immediately. But morally? Legally? Who was more guilty? The woman who poisoned a man who destroyed the man she loved? Or the woman who stabbed a man who destroyed her entire family? By 6 a.m. I'd written my report. By 7 a.m. both women were in custody. By 8 a.m. the sun rose over Holloway Manor. Justice, I thought, is just another mask we wear, and sometimes it doesn't fit anyone well. The case closed 3 months later. Adelaide Whitmore was convicted of attempted murder, served 5 years, then released on good behavior. Dr. Helena Holloway was convicted of manslaughter, not murder. The jury accepted that she'd acted in a moment of passion upon discovering her father had already been poisoned. She served 7 years, continued her medical work in the prison infirmary. I visited her once, 2 years into her sentence. "Do you regret it?" I asked. She thought for a long moment. "I regret that William isn't here to see that his father finally faced consequences. I regret that Adelaide and I had to become what we became. But do I regret stopping his heart? No, Detective, I don't." The other 4 guests scattered. Vivian Ross moved to Paris, married a French count. Tobias Grant's embezzlement was exposed during the investigation. He served time as well. Clara Penbrook wrote a book about the case. It became a bestseller. Magnus Thorne disappeared. Some say Argentina. Others say he's dead. Holloway Manor was sold at auction, bought by a hotel conglomerate. They say it's haunted now, that if you stand in the study at midnight, you can still hear it, the gramophone, scratching, looping. I'll be watching, I'll be watching, I'll be watching. 6 masks, 6 sins, 2 killers, 1 victim, and a locked room that wasn't locked at all. Just a door someone knew how to open. Close your eyes now. Rest. And if you dream of gramophones and golden masks, of champagne and secrets and locked rooms, well, some mysteries linger, some static never clears. Good night.